Hello everyone, it's Ashley here. Today I am super excited to be sharing my craft room, an updated craft room tour. The My Creative Scrapbook design team is sharing their craft rooms or craft spaces or any place that they might be able to pull out their craft supplies, and yeah, so that's what we're doing. So I am going to give you an updated tour. There are some changes, one of them being my craft table. I'm recording this video at night while my family is in bed, so it is quiet. So we will get started. I'm going to start over in this corner here. This is where I house all of my scrapbooking collections. So I'll give you a closer look in these cubicles. So in this top one, I have Christmas and winter collections. There's a Hip Scrape Paper, Pink Fresh Studio. Just some, like I said, Christmas or winter. In this bottom bin, I have just anything that is theme specific. So I have school, Valentine's Day, 4th of July, Easter, summer, and Halloween. These two baskets, I just have some things that I'm getting rid of, so they're just in those baskets for now. Then in this cubicle, I have Paige Evans. I have from her Sugar Plum Wishes collection all the way to this basket to some of her older collections. And then in this bin, I have Pink Fresh Studio. I think that's all that's really in there is Pink Fresh Studio. And then in this basket, I have Crepe Paper, Simple Stories, and some Maggie Holmes. In this one, I have Bella Boulevard. And this one, I have some hip kits. So that is how I store my collections. So I store them either by theme or holiday, or I store them by the brand or company or designer. And I store in those envelopes, I have the 12 by 12 papers, pads, 6 by 8 pads, and ephemera, cardstock, stickers, pretty much everything but enamel dots. And I'll kind of show you where I keep those here pretty quick. And then on top of this cubicle, I have my Cameo and my Epson printer. That's the Epson PM400. And above that, I have my pegboard. This really has not changed much. Just some Paige Evans things that didn't fit with the collections, some sequins and brads, some ribbon, twine, burlap, a scoreboard, some punch boards, a Martha Stewart circle cutter. Like I said, this is pretty much the same if you've seen my other craft room tour. Not much has changed. All right, now we're going to move on to this storage, this shelving unit over here. And I really like it because it's got some nice built-in shelving, and I can move the shelving around to make it like deeper if I need to, or taller I should say. So we'll start over here on this one. So on the top, I just have mostly some decor. And then my sewing machine, and just like I said, some decor. In this basket, I have some pictures that I want to scrapbook that have already been printed. Next, I have this cool organizer that has the scrapbook.com pops of color drops, and then also some Nouveau drops, and then this spinny carousel. I have the Prima sprays. Over here I have some photo boxes, and I don't usually go into them because like this is from my childhood, so I'm just basically keeping them safe. And then these are pictures that I had printed a long time ago, and the quality just is not up to my standards now, so I don't know what to do with them. I'm just kind of holding on to them for now, and we'll see what happens. And then I have this box that has some cards and photos that I'm like more keepsakes, and then this is just a box of personal things, maybe some cards that my girls made me, just things that I want to keep that were given to me. Next, down to the next shelf, I have this basket, and it has the Bella Boulevard cutouts. I have this basket, and it has some alpha stickers, and these are just like the flat cardstock alpha stickers, and they are of course in rainbow order. And then I have some phrase stickers in here. In this basket I have more of like the thicker, so foam, chipboard, any kind of dimensional alpha sticker. They're in here, and again this is organized by rainbow. Next I have this shelf, and this is what I was talking about earlier about the enamel dots that I have. This is probably my favorite bin. I just take all of the enamel dots that I have, that I get, and I just put them all together. So I have every brand that I've ever purchased in here, and I like that because you really can match any color. You can find a color that you're looking for when you have a decent stash like this. And I like to use, like for example, Pink Fresh. I can kind of, depending on the collection, I can use multiple packs. So that's where I keep my enamel dots. This basket has the Bella Boulevard acrylic words, and then also the Trinket puffy stickers. And again, organized in rainbow order. Okay, next I have this just some random embellishments that I also have in rainbow order for the most part. Then I have this basket of embellishments. I feel like I need to go through that because I know there's some things that I probably won't use. And then this basket, I just pulled some of my favorite things that I want to kind of use up, especially these gold twigs and branches and such. They're just so pretty, and I was sick of them just sitting in an envelope, and I really want to get them used up. Okay, and then on the bottom shelf on this side, I just have a basket that I occasionally will keep candy in. My girls know where it's at, and yes, of course they ask, but they like to see what mom has. And this bin, it's mostly storage items, so just little bins, another spinny carousel thing, Lazy Susan, whatever you call it, and then some trays and such. So just things that if I need to organize some supplies, I have some organizational bins and such. This one is just like a hodgepodge of, I don't even know what, like lunch baggies that I used to use for projects. I don't know. It's a crazy mess in there. And this one is mostly just sewing, embroidery floss, and then there's like the foot pedal to my sewing machine in the bottom. And then my husband's albums from when he was a kid. Okay, we're on the other side of this shelving unit. So go to the top here. This is just some papers of mine that I keep organized. This has a couple of different notebooks and such, and then the Paige Evans book that she just came out with this year. If you have not purchased that, you really should. There's so many goodies in there. You will not be disappointed. Then there is this little, I don't know what you call it, tiered Lazy Susan. It's so fun. I think I got that from Target. And it houses just some random, I think there's rubber bands and paper clips. And then this little owl is the mug that I use for when I am using watercolors. So it's already got paintbrushes in it. And I really love owls. They are probably my favorite animal. So I got this planner from a friend, so it's just there as decor. A little sign that my daughter made and a little planter, another sign, candles, another sign, and a gift from my daughter. Okay, the next shelf has some mini albums that I really want to try to use. I'm gonna try my hardest to get at least one done this year. We will see. And then some photo books that I made, I believe, on Shutterfly. This is a 31 caddy that has some like adult coloring books and colored pencils and doodling stuff. This is like a recipe book stand that my husband made for me. It's kind of a funny story. So I ordered, or I should say he ordered me a recipe book stand for Christmas, and I thought it never showed up, but apparently it got stuck with a bunch of other stuff under our bed when I just stashed a bunch of the Christmas stuff there. And when I was cleaning under our bed a few months ago, I had found the recipe book stand that he built, or that he had ordered for me, but he had already built this for me first. So I have two. So this one stays in here, and I use it for when I'm creating with sketches. So I'd put that in front of me so that I can see what the sketch looks like. And I have mostly Allison Davis sketches, and that's what's in these 3 binders. Next, I have just kind of where I have some paper storage. I also have my trimmer here, and it's just easy because it's right next to my table. Some 8.5 by 11 cardstock. This has my 6 by 8 paper pads, and it's kind of sad. I really haven't used this a lot since my last tour, so it probably looks about the same. But I have been using this glitter paper, and I bought this, I don't know, many years ago from Michael's, I believe. And it is the best glitter paper because it does not like fall off. So if you cut into it or you rub on it, like there's nothing there. Probably not gonna focus, but anyways, love this glitter paper. And so I have 2 different pads with different colors. This right here is how I store my scraps. So I have these file folders, and I have each one labeled with the colors. And how I kind of organize it is I have the pattern papers, and I try to keep them squared down. This one obviously is not, but I try to keep them squared down so that they're not awkward sizes. And then in the back I have the solid cardstock. So I've been trying really hard to use up more of my scraps. I mostly keep just collections, I have these scraps here, a few 6x8 pads, and then some paper down here, which I'm gonna go into next. But I mostly just have collections, so everything is together. So I don't reach for this stuff very often. So like I said, I'm trying to use it up more. So it's here. I try to reach for it. Next, I have this paper rack. I believe I purchased it from I want to say a scrapbook store that was closing nearby. So it has solid cardstock, rainbow order here. And then this is pattern paper, also in rainbow order. So this is really all I have for paper that doesn't belong to a collection. And there's really not that much there. Like, there's probably only 5 sheets of red, a few sheets of orange. I think there's probably quite a bit of the blue and the pink, but there's really not that much there. So I'm considering getting rid of this and just storing this paper in a different way, maybe similar to how I store my collections in those envelopes. It does take up a lot of room. Not sure what I would put there. So I'm not like too concerned about the space right now, but the problem is that dust collects there. If I'm not reaching for that stuff enough, which maybe that should be the motivating factor, is reach for it more so it's not collecting dust. But if I don't touch any of it, it collects dust, and that's super frustrating because then I need to kind of clean it off. Then I just have my trash can and some extra boxes, and then those right there are those storage pockets that I was talking about, how I store my collections. Okay, this is as much as I can get in the frame. My room isn't super big, and that's kind of why, if you watched my craft room tour in my last video, my table looked a little bit different. So it's similar with the same top, but I had my husband build this for me quite a few years ago when we lived in a different house. And the craft room I had was a little bit bigger. So he built this for me, but when we moved here, this one is a little bit more narrow, not by much, but just a little bit. And so after living in this space, or using this space for a while, I realized maybe it would be better if I had him cut it in half. So bless his heart, he is the sweetest guy ever. He cut this in half for me, and I did that for a couple years, probably like 3 maybe. And then probably the beginning of this year, at some point, I decided I really missed having a large space to utilize. Like when I had it cut in half, it just felt so narrow, and I only had space on the sides, and you can see I keep a carousel over there. So it really cut down on space to, you know, lay out my supplies when I needed to. So he, bless his heart again, was so sweet and put my table back together with some braces, obviously, because it wasn't going to be as strong and sturdy as it originally was created. But he did such a good job, and you can't even tell, honestly, that it was cut in half. So just to touch with what's down here, it's just honestly stuff I have stored, like my girls' school boxes and such. And sorry that it's so dark. There's a printer right there. And like I said, it's just random things that aren't interesting. And then I have this rolling cart that I store underneath here, and it works pretty well under there. I have this little bin right here that I put my extra layouts in when I put the layouts in there when I'm done that haven't been usually dated, or I don't have the journaling done, or I'm just not in the mood to put the layouts away. So they go in that bin, and when it's full, that's when I put the layouts away. Then this is some 12 by 12 page protectors, and this basket is just some like gel nail polish stuff. And I'm very happy that I labeled these. So in this top one, I have my adhesives, and like I said, this is right under my table, so if I need to grab something, I can just quick reach under and grab what I'm looking for. Then we have some vinyl. Next, I have my photo paper for my Epson printer. Copy paper, which I'm almost out because my girls love to draw. Next is paint supplies. So watercolors, paintbrushes. This is my extra foam adhesive. Some foam squares, double-sided adhesive, washi tape, glue gun, extra quick dry adhesive, extra foam strips. This is a box of ATG refill, and I ordered that at Tape Jungle, and I absolutely love it because it's like a box of 12 for, I don't even know, like $25, $30. I don't know. It's so reasonable and it's amazing. It works so well. Okay. Next, I have Techie, and it just has some phone screen protectors and then my label maker. This one I have my date stamps in, and I love that I did this because this is the ink that I usually use to date stamp, and I just pull this out and I date stamp my layouts when I'm doing a big batch of them. This has just some Post-its and some rechargeable batteries. This has some embossing powder and an embossing gun, and then some stencils, and I don't have a lot, but I have a decent stack there. I don't use them a lot, but I definitely use them more than I use my embossing powders. Just haven't been into that, so that might go. And this just says bits and bobs, and it's just got some pretty stuff that I really would like to use up. And then some stamping supplies. Okay, then we're at my craft table. Like I said, this is nice and big now, so I have a decent amount of space to create. I have this huge self-healing mat that I purchased at Hobby Lobby. I have these nice lights that I turn on whether I'm recording a video or just working on a layout. It's really nice to have good lighting. I have this tray that I use for embellishments, like ephemera that I just want to dump into something so that I don't lose them, but I can quickly scan through them. I have a fan if I'm warm, and then this carousel, which houses tools that I need: ATG gun, scissors, spatula, crocodile, corner chomper, pens, pencils, markers, X-Acto knife, tweezers, anything that I need, and it's right there. And again, that's right next to where my trimmer is, so it's quick right there, and then I can just tuck it away when I don't need it. All right, and then I'm not sure when this video is going up, so this might be a sneak peek, maybe not, I'm not sure, of a design team kit for my creative scrapbook. That's kind of how I house that for when I'm using it, whatever I'm working with. Then down here I have my punches. So I have smaller shapes, another one with some shapes, border punches. And the next layer I have just some bigger shapes, and I think there's a butterfly punch. I've been trying to use those a lot more, which I'm proud of myself because I have been. Okay, then this is where I keep my albums. I used to keep them in those cubicles where I have my collections, but I really wanted to move my collections where they were all together because they weren't before, and this seemed to work. I used to have my albums here before, and when I did have them there, I only had probably like that many, maybe, I don't know, it was only like this many, so I have quite a bit more, but that's what happens when you scrapbook a lot. So these are all family albums. These are my stepdaughter's albums, my other daughter's albums who is going into 6th grade, and then my youngest who is going into 4th grade. These are just some extra albums that I haven't touched yet. And then over here, I just have my computer, my Mac, some canvases that I made, and then this just has a carousel of pens and little office supplies, stapler and such. And then this little bin just houses like my planner and some school stuff that I need to put away into the girls' bins. And then that's just a random basket. The last thing I'm going to show you is my inspiration wall. This was inspired by Paige Evans. She has one in her craft room, and I know that she has inspired others to do the same, so I know we're not the only ones, but I have 24 layouts up here. I really love this. It's such good inspiration if I'm ever feeling stuck or just want to look at them a little bit longer before they get tucked into an album. A piece of advice though, if you do try this, make sure whatever layouts you put up here that everything is glued on really well, because they're hanging like this, it's so much easier for things to fall off. So which layout is it? This layout up here, just recently I realized that I had a photo missing in part of the title, and I found it on the floor. So I love this very much. I would not change it. I will not take it down, but I just have to be more careful that whatever I put up here, that everything is glued down really well. Okay, that is all. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I'll give you guys a quick scan again of my room. I hope that I have inspired you in some way in your craft space, if you have a craft space. And if you don't, that's okay. It just dining room table works too. I used to do that at one point. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.